Hi, I'm Lara.
I'm Brock.
And welcome to TEFL Talk. Hi, welcome back to TEFL Talk. Today we have a great topic. We're going to be talking about differentiated instruction, and I'm here with my co-host, Brock Brady.
This is our third session, third time's the charm, and you know it's going to be charming with someone so charming as Lara with us. So I'm looking forward to today.
Tell that to the guy I cut off on the highway this morning. So Brock, let's just jump in. Tell me about differentiated instruction.
Differentiated instruction is about getting everybody in the game, make sure everybody's playing. And what that means is you have to reach out to different abilities, different interests, but you got to get everybody in the game.
All right, how about I give you a few scenarios and you can kind of help me understand how differentiation would impact the outcomes.
Okay, I'll accept that challenge. But first, I think I want to establish some essential ground rules. I think first and foremost, we begin by using the seating chart. And, you know, the seating chart is a really important tool. I mean, you've got the students' names, and you have to figure out how to pronounce them. You've got to remember how to pronounce them. You want to be able to recognize all your students outside the class as well as inside the class. It's part of showing that you're willing to invest in them. So that's the first and foremost. It's really important to use the seating chart to get to know your students. But you can use the seating chart in another way. You know, one of the things that happens in too many classrooms too often is the teacher is always asking questions, and it's always the same 4 or 5 students that are responding. And that's a challenge in both ways because the other students aren't participating, but also you as the teacher, you don't have a good idea of what the class as a whole is understanding. So the other way you can use the seating chart is to make tallies to make sure that you're calling on all students equitably. So you can move a long ways down the differentiation chart just by using your seating chart.
Great, so all I need to do is use my seating chart to make sure that I know who my students are and that they're participating equitably, and I'm good to go.
That's the first part, but you've got to bring the students into the game, like I said before, and you've got to find out where they're at in the game, what positions they're playing, maybe is a way to think about it. So you want to learn a little bit about them, you want to learn a little bit about their family, because if you can bring those kinds of things in, it makes it a little bit more personal for them. But also, those are basic things that are relatively easy to talk about. And it can give you an idea about the proficiency of different students.
Now, what about checking in with past teachers of the students? Is that fair game?
I'd say it's absolutely essential. If you have any opportunity at all, talk to teachers that are teaching the students currently or have had them before, because they'll have a professional perspective on these students, what they can do and what they can't do. Students sometimes can't self-evaluate very well, but the teachers will be able to help you out a lot. When it comes down to it, students aren't the only ones that need to do the homework.
I didn't know there was going to be homework. Is this going to be on the test?
You never know.
All right, Brock, let's get started with scenario number 1. So imagine that you are in your second day of a new school year.
Yeah.
Your first class, you went around, you made sure you had everybody's names on the name chart, kind of noted a little bit about where they are ability-wise. What do you do next? What do you do next to get more information?
Something I often do is that I ask the students to talk about their families, because that's something they can speak about easily. And I let them have a choice about how they want to tell me about their family. So, for example, for the students that may be the most challenged with proficiency, I might ask them to just draw a picture of their family and put the names over them. And then for students that are a little bit more proficient, I might do something like put 4 or 5 sentences about family on the board and ask them to give answers to those questions. And typically the answers you would ask for would be just like a word or two, so it's not too demanding. And then finally, for the more advanced students, I might just ask them to write a paragraph about their family. So there's something that everybody can do, and how well they do it gives me even more information about their proficiency. In the example we gave earlier, we were doing it about family, but another one that's very easy to do is student interests, what they're interested in, and you can build that the same way. So again, you're engaging the student, you're giving them choice, they're doing what they want to do.
What about that situation where You can observe that all of your students are learning. However, those who are really out front, the ones in the middle and maybe towards the back, they're not able to catch those students out front. What do you do then?
I'm not really sure I see that as a problem as long as all the students are learning. You'll never be able to catch everybody up to the person that's way out in front. But what you want to do is keep everybody in the game, keep them learning, and work with everybody so that even the student who had the most catching up to do can at least pass the end of the course exam, even if they just pass it by the skin of their teeth. So we can't get everybody on the same page, but we can get everybody up to success on their particular page.
So it sounds like differentiation is really being comfortable knowing that students all start at different places, and they're gonna end at different places too, but as long as there's been growth, that's the goal you're looking for.
Yeah, that's all a teacher can do. A couple other things I want to bring in about differentiation that I think is really important is that you need to change the way you approach things. And one of the things that we know is that too often in too many classes, the teacher is up in front of the class doing Q&A, question and answer, and not all the students are participating, and the teacher is talking more than anybody else. So one way we can bring the students into the game is to change the interaction. Rather than the teacher being the sage on the stage and asking all the questions, we can put students into pairs and put them into groups. And when you put them into pairs and groups, you can be judicious, and if you have a student that's not doing as well as some of the others, you compare them with a student that's doing quite well, and they can support each other. Plus, they can practice without everybody in the room seeing them all at once, so it's a little bit more accommodating.
Well, I've found this discussion on differentiation to be extremely helpful, and I kind of want to recap some of the things that I heard you say. One thing I can do in my class is I can really utilize my seating chart, not just to know where everybody's sitting, but to kind of know a little bit about them and to make sure I'm balancing participation.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I can do is I can use students' lives and their interests to find out more about them, and that also gives me an added benefit of knowing more about their ability level.
Right. And you can give them choice when they're deciding how they want to report to you.
Great, yeah, and that's the last one that I know I'm going to include is different approaches to get the same information. So I haven't really thought about that in the past, but I can structure lesson plans in a way that gives them an opportunity to pick the method that they want to share their information with me.
Yeah.
And last, I just really need to focus on keeping everyone in the game. So I know I can do that by changing my strategy around grouping, around pairing students, sometimes maybe pairing the stronger students with students who need some more support, and also giving them different kinds of opportunities to share their knowledge. So like the example you gave, drawing versus short answer versus paragraphs. Right. So these are things I think I can do. I'm excited to give them a try, and I really appreciate you walking us through this. Now, something tells me, though, that differentiation is more than just what we talked about.
No, I think we really need to think about where we got today. Well, we got to a very good place. It's just the start. There's a lot more that's involved in differentiation, and we'll be coming back and doing that and doing some more on differentiation in other sessions. But hopefully this can get you started.
Well, I am excited to talk more about differentiation in future episodes. And remember, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment box below. Thanks for watching TEFL Talk. If you want updates on new episodes, be sure to subscribe.
Do you have a great idea for a show topic?
Or maybe you just want to say hey. Either way, we would love to hear from you.
Whether you're joining us from Morocco or Ecuador,
or Mozambique or Ukraine,
just leave us a comment and let us know. Thank you very much.